Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode 256. I am Brennan. Bellator 294 prelims. All right, we're going to cover Kenneth Cross versus Killys Mota, Sergei Bilostenniy versus Tyrell Fortune, and the rest of the other two fights on the prelims here. We're going to cover those, break them down round by round, go over what happened. A little bit of, if you stick with me to the end, I'm going to probably go off on a little bit of a tirade on the commentary. But before we get started, subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff, if you like fight breakdowns, if you like me. I don't know why, maybe you do, and you want to know when the next video is coming out, I would appreciate it, and it helps you out as well, because then you'll see when they are on your feed. All right, let's get it started. Killys Mota taking on Kenneth Cross. Okay, this was weird for a couple of reasons. Kenneth Cross, first of all, impressive mullet. Very impressive. The dude on commentary was like, man, that's a salad. I guess? Is that a thing? I must have missed that. I don't know. Anyway, Kenneth Cross is a younger guy. They're making comparisons to Conor McGregor for him. I don't see it. Mota was throwing kicks out there, keeping the distance. Mota caught a kick and worked for the takedown, but Cross reversed it, took the back. Mota was staying really aggressive, landing a couple of shots, then takes 3 shots straight to the head. He had to shoot for a takedown, but got spun around. Mota got the takedown, got back, but lost it right before the end of the round. More control time went to Cross. Damage was about equal on my card. Now, it was close, right? It was close, but I gave it to Mota. Or sorry, Cross. So he was looking fine. I just didn't see the McGregor comparisons. Second round here. Mota runs right across the cage, staying in his face, landing a couple hooks. He starts using the kicks to the body again. Mota got the takedown. Cross gave up his back multiple times and then got submitted. I don't understand what his strategy was. Obviously, I don't have the entire fight here as highlights, but the dude gave up his back multiple times and gave his neck up and gave up position, and Mota ends up getting the finish here. Great fight from Mota. I know that Cross is a prospect and they're trying to push him. I get that, but he's very raw and he uses a lot of explosiveness. So I think I mean, this test is going to be great for him, I guess. I just think that there's a lot to work on. I do not see the McGregor comparisons. Sergei Bilostenniy versus Tyrell Fortune. This fight was interesting because it ends up getting stopped via DQ. Now, we will talk about this just a little bit, just because it was kind of stupid the way it got stopped. So, Fortune shot for blast doubles. He ends up getting it on the second one. Sergei gets back up with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Tyrell going for the takedown again. Sergei landing about 20 elbows, some to the back of the head, some are clean, and then eventually he lands a hard one. They get down to the ground, and then he lands some more, and the ref waves it off. Now, he disqualifies him for the strikes to the back of the head. Sergei does not speak English, and the warnings might not have meant anything to him. Tyrell gets the win. Why didn't the referee stop it earlier? Okay, so I don't know if they're going to show. Yeah, okay, so some of those are legal, some of those are legal, right? Some of them aren't good, some of them are fine. But the ones that are, so he lands one, gets him down here, and now a couple of these are to the back of the head, like those are back to the head, illegal. Side of the head, back of the head. He's moving his head, so some of those are fine. Back of the head targeting, those two were legal, and that's when he stops it. Now, why did he wait until then to stop it? So the commentary team brought this up. Kudos to them. I appreciate them talking about this the way they did, especially from, oh boy, it wasn't John McCarthy, although he agreed with him. Oh, crap. Josh Thompson, sorry. Josh Thompson brought it up and he said, hey, why didn't the referee stop it earlier? Because if the referee stops it earlier, we now have a discussion. We could possibly end up with the same disqualification, sure. But if the referee stops it earlier, and he makes the fighter understand. It does a couple things, right? You could end up with a no contest because they weren't intentional. You could end up with the DQ because maybe the referee decides they were intentional. So we could still have the same scenario. So if you're worried about, Tyrell Fortune getting screwed out of a win here, that could still happen. But it saves him from damage, and so yeah, the scoring, the outcome of the fight saves him from damage, and it would let the fighter know who's throwing the illegal strikes to stop it, because he can't speak English or doesn't speak English well enough to understand what's going on, obviously. And then when he's talking to him in there, maybe he doesn't understand what he's saying. Maybe it's hard to understand him. Whatever. I'm not excusing the strikes were illegal. I've been pretty hard on that stuff. If you strike someone to the back of the head, I don't think you should get a warning. I think you should immediately lose position. And that's what I wanted here. This is one of the other problems that can happen. Why keep warning him? Hey, stop doing it. Stop doing it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, that's enough. I've seen enough. This fight's over. Why? Why didn't you stop it the first time? Why didn't you stop it the second time or the next 10 times? How come you didn't stop it then and stop that damage, the illegal damage from continuing, and take away the position from him? You punish him immediately for throwing those blows. You give him the warning and say, if you do it again, I'm taking a point. And then, like I said, you already punished him, take away the position. You stop that, and you stop that damage from continuing. And you don't end up with this shit. This was stupid. This was really dumb. Okay? I mean, this isn't the most egregious thing I've ever seen, but it was really dumb. It's the equivalent of watching your kid play with something near the TV, like swinging a baseball bat near the TV and telling him to stop 30 times, but never getting up or never making him stop. And then he breaks the TV, and then he swings it around 30 more times, and you're like, okay, that's enough. You're grounded forever. It's like, dude, you could have stopped it beforehand. You could have stopped it before the damage was done. You could have stopped it the first time the damage was done. You could have stopped it mid-damage, mid-conversation with the guy. But you chose to let all that play out. And in fact, you waited so long that there was confusion as to whether or not Sergei was actually finishing the fight. He thought he won. That's how long you waited. Do you understand how long you have to wait for that screw up to happen? That's horrible. Anyway, I don't think Sergei was doing anything egregious. I think he was doing stupid stuff, and he needs to be in control of himself, and he was throwing illegal blows, and it needs to be better. And Tyrell Fortune, I hold no grudge against him. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think not continuing the fight, saying being damaged from those 1,000 shots to the back of the head, that's legitimate. Whether or not you want to continue, maybe it's not the best decision based off of being compromised by illegal blows. We've seen that backfire against people all the time. And even then, it wasn't even his choice. It was the referee who just immediately waved it off. That's so freaking weird. I don't know if I've ever seen that exact situation play out before, and I hope it doesn't happen again. That referee needs to get his shit together. All right, let's talk about some domination. Blake Smith versus Cris Lencioni. This fight was pretty good. Lencioni is a great grappler. We got to see him put on a little bit of a show when it came to the ground game. He's working on his striking. It's not terrible, but he did take a couple shots on the feet. All right, so... Oh, yeah, and another funny thing. So both guys missed weight. Cris Lencioni missed weight by a lot, right? So they're supposed to weigh in at 145. Cris Lencioni weighed in at 152.4, so not even fucking close. What an asshole. So they tell Blake Smith, hey, you don't have to cut weight. You can keep it, right? You can stop your weight cut, and we'll just keep this fight on as a catch weight. And then he goes like, nah, I'm going to make weight and take his money. Then he missed weight. He weighed in at 146.4, so neither guy gets more money. I'm sure this has happened in MMA. It's just I don't remember it happening. This is really weird. Smith was landing some nice calf kicks. Lencioni landed a huge right hand, rocking Smith. Then he moved in and got hit with a right hand himself. Lencioni with the takedown and the Americana attempt. Nothing doing there. Lencioni took the back, got the body triangle. He got the body triangle right away. It was a great round for him. I gave it to him 10-9. Lencioni right in on the takedown. Immediately gets it at the 4-minute mark, chaining his way to his attempts together. He was just working harder, and he knew what he was doing. It was really good grappling. And Lencioni transitions from mount to a top triangle, right? So an inverted triangle where he's on top of the guy. I'll show you the video in a second. And going for that, it says that he tapped due to a triangle, but it's really from a pec stretch, and I'll explain that in a second. Let's see. I'll show you the video. So if you look from this position here, he transitioned to this inverted triangle, right? It's not a mounted triangle. He even like does the Diaz thing, like I'm gonna win here. I'm gonna win. So right here, look. So this stretch that he's got going on, like it's uncomfortable on the neck, and it can cut off your breathing and your blood eventually. I'll show it again. Sorry, I missed it for you guys. It can cut off your breathing and your blood eventually, but really it's a pec stretch because everything's tied in, and you're forcing. It's like a shoulder stretch and a pec stretch, so it forces your shoulder up here. It's really uncomfortable. It hurts a lot. So it was a great submission from him. It's interesting to see that work in MMA. A great setup, great finish. It's awesome. Chris Lencioni is great on the ground. I do like watching him fight. He's a great grappler. So a great win for him. And this card, I'll get into it afterwards, but I do think it is worth watching this card. Anthony Adams versus Sharaf Davlatmurodov. God, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Davlatmurodov. I hope I have the emphasis on the correct syllable. But no, I really mean that. So Sharaf Davlatmurodov. Wait, I've heard him saying it. Davlatmurodov, Murodov. I heard it a bunch of different ways, so I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyway, this is the one I wanted to talk about. So the fight itself was pretty boilerplate. It wasn't the most exciting thing to watch, and I'll get into it as we go. But the commentary on this was horrendous. Sharaf was doing a good job mixing up his strikes with his low kicks. His body kicks into the jab. He was just doing great stuff. Davlatmurodov was landing all the strikes in this round, but I have to listen to John McCarthy talk about how good Anthony Adams' movement is. That's what I'm talking about. Anthony Adams was moving around and getting hit, but he wasn't landing anything back. There was a nice left hook and a nice left high kick from Sharaf, which was a beautiful combo. Adams missed so much in this round, but they didn't mention any of it. All they did was talk about how he's fast, his movement, his countering. It was like they were still doing the lead up to the fight during the fight, right? They're still hyping him up as the fight's continuing and he's getting beat, right? It was not like he was getting his ass kicked, but he wasn't landing anything. 10-9 to Davlatmurodov. And after this round, the other announcer had the audacity to say that was a good round for Anthony Adams. What the fuck were you watching, dude? What the fuck were you watching? Not even close, man. Not even, no. There was one round that might have been close, and even then, it's not. And it was not the first round. Even, dude, I don't. They mention it when they talk about the numbers. Okay, second round here. The Davlatmurodov was landing some hard low kicks. He landed a ton of these. It was great damage for him. The guys were exchanging right hands, but Davlatmurodov was landing more, and he was leading up to it with a combo and then landing a big shot, whereas Anthony Adams was just landing the straight right. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And with the follow-up, Adams is just throwing, like I said, he's just throwing a 1-2, whereas Davlatmurodov would lead in with an uppercut or something and then throw a combo and then exit with a kick or exit with another shot, as Anthony Adams would just throw a 1-2. So he's getting outstruck in every way possible. Commentary is talking shit about the striking numbers because they don't agree with what they're saying about Adams, right? They're saying they don't agree with the striking numbers, saying that Adams has landed more than 22 strikes and Davlatmurodov has not landed 45 at this point, right? They're saying, oh, they're saying that these guys who are taking the striking numbers, oh, they must really like what Sharaf is doing out there. No, it's not that they like it. They're just counting what they see, you jackass. This stuff drives me bonkers. I don't know if it was because it was the first fight of the night and they didn't hit their groove yet. I don't know if they were supposed to be pushing Anthony Adams. I don't know if it's because Davlatmurodov has had a long layoff and people don't know him. Maybe he doesn't speak English that well and they're not trying to push him as a star or anything like that or a contender and they just want Anthony Adams there. I'll tell you, though, not close. Not close. He was just getting outstruck the entire time. I think he got outstruck 2-1. And there was nothing from Adams that landed so significantly to sway it in the favor of him. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. And then in the last round here, so I had him, Davlat was landing a lead uppercut and then following up with or leading to the body and then following up after that. It was really good. The things that he was doing were excellent for what he needed to do. With the 90 seconds left, Davlatmurodov pulling ahead is what they said. So with 1 minute and 30 seconds left, they're like, oh, finally, Davlatmurodov is putting it together. He's been outstriking him the entire time. Open up your eyes. Jesus. Adams gets a takedown to end the round, but does nothing with it. I don't see how you could give him the round because of that. It means absolutely nothing. I had a 20-18 in favor of Davlatmurodov. And then, even when they both land leg kicks, Davlatmurodov was landing the harder one, right? Davlat ends up getting the takedown here at 320, and then on the hip, landing a couple knees as Adams tries to get back up. He lands a couple knees to the body, to the leg. Adams worked his way back up, presses him against the cage, and then stalls while going for a takedown, but doing no damage in the process. Hard kick to the body as Adams goes for a takedown, and then Sharaf gets on top with 1 minute and 15 seconds left. And then it looks like the hometown favorite for Bellator just didn't get it done. I said he got his ass kicked, but I was kind of just pissed off. He didn't get his ass kicked. It wasn't a close fight, in my opinion. He got outstruck, out-grappled, out-everything in this entire fight. Every round by round, he lost. I had it 30-27. All three judges gave it 30-27. John McCarthy, get out of here, you fucking homer. Seriously. Right? And I always have a problem with John McCarthy's commentary. I feel like he harps on the wrong things. I don't think there's a perfect commentary team or a perfect commentator, but John McCarthy does so many things that irks me. And yeah, so I could just shut it off, whatever. That's true. And, maybe some people really like him, and that's your prerogative. You can like whatever you want. I dislike the way he talks about things because I feel like he sways people's opinions. If you're watching that stuff, that's your responsibility as a commentary team is to get across to the public what they might not be understanding about what's going on or what needs to happen. You're trying to make it entertaining, but also be informative at the same time. Not sway the public opinion with your biased commentary. And what can happen is you end up stirring up a shitstorm because you're so convinced one guy won, or one guy's doing all these good things, or you're only talking about this one person doing these things, or you're only calling these rounds one way for one person. And then people are like, oh, I can't believe I just did this robbery here. And then you got people all up in a tizzy over something that doesn't exist. There's no controversy. And then when real controversy happens, people are either desensitized to it or they don't notice it because they're all up in arms about this one. Now, the one thing I do like from him is his technical breakdowns. I think John McCarthy's technical breakdowns are fantastic. I think they're great. I think sometimes his commentary is passable to good most of the time. But the times that it isn't, it stands out so much. And this is how the night started for me, was listening to him tell me that my eyes are lying to me. right? I don't dislike John McCarthy. In fact, I really do like him. I like when he's in long form audio. I like it when he does technical breakdowns. I love it when he gives explanations for certain things happening, especially when it comes to refereeing and rules, judging. I love most of the things that he does. It's the commentary. I don't think he's the best interviewer either, but that's not his main thing. He just goes in there and wants people to talk. That's whatever. So don't take this as I hate John McCarthy. I don't hate him. I hate this. I hate being told that what I'm seeing isn't happening. I hate being told that, oh, this guy's doing so well when he's getting his ass kicked or he hasn't done anything. And whoever that other dingus was on the commentary, that guy can go suck eggs. Like, he's bad with the technical stuff. He doesn't know what's going on, won't push back. He just agrees with whatever McCarthy's saying. I'm not down for that. Don't like it. Overall, fights weren't bad. If you missed the Bellator 294, I would catch at least the main event. Watch Liz Carmouche get it done. Sarah McMahon coming in here doing a decent job. Those are, that was a grappling affair. So if that's not your cup of tea, then don't go check that out. Wasn't the most exciting night. Danny Sabatello fight was good. Seeing Chris Lencioni get the win there. There was a couple fights in here that were worth watching. I do recommend going to check them out. But you could probably skip this one too. If you're not a hardcore MMA fan, this might be one to skip. Unfortunately, so it's not like Bellator did a bad job here. It's just the fights weren't all that, and I'm hoping for a little bit more tonight when we watch them. So thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it. If you made it this far, subscribe to the channel so you know the next video is coming out. I'd really appreciate that too. It helps me out, and it lets you know when the next videos drop. If you like this video, click the like button. I'd appreciate that too. And then also, if you're interested in any of the fights that have happened before, if you want something like, let's say you're going in a back catalog, you're watching some old PFL fights, some old Bellator fights, or you're watching some old UFC fights, right? And you're like, oh man, what was going on at this time? I have all of my stuff listed. So if you go on my channel, all my events, so my episodes obviously have numbers, but all the UFC Bellator events, they're all listed on there in the order that they came out. So if you just go to them and you want some commentary based off of, or a fight breakdown based off of what you're watching at the time, maybe you disagreed with it, maybe you want to hear a breakdown, maybe you want to listen to it while you watch a fight, I don't know. I have all those in my back catalog, so go check some of those out if you're interested. Okay, that's enough of that. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Have a great week.